My dear students, I welcome all of you for today's session on design and analysis of algorithms. In this session, we are starting with module 2. Okay. In module 1, we had a discussion. Okay. I have introduced you to algorithms. Means basic concepts which you need to be thorough with algorithms before you come to different design strategies. Okay. Very important, you need to be thorough with asymptotic notations. You need to be thorough with efficiency classes. Okay. You need to be thorough with mathematical analysis of non-recursive and recursive algorithms. Okay. And also you need to be thorough with data structures. Clear? You need to be thorough. You need to be thorough with data structures. Okay. And in previous session also I've given you a brief introduction to some problem types. Okay. So in this session, I'm going to introduce one of the design strategy, okay, that we will use to solve the problems. Okay. I mean you will be given some problem of huge size. Okay. The problem will be of the largest size. Okay. Each individual will come up with a solution. Okay. But what happens, the solution might not be efficient. I mean to say the time that to solve that particular problem, okay, may be larger. So I mean the case is that, suppose let me say I want you to sort an array. Suppose array consists okay, very large elements, say 1,000, 10,000, lakh, million. Okay. So how long it may take to sort? Clear? But if array size is very small, let it be 5 to 10 elements, easily you can sort. But the question is that larger the size of array, the time it's going to take to sort will also be larger. Okay. If you use your brute force method, okay, if you use bubble sort, selection sort, okay, it takes very large time. Similarly, let me say I want to search for a particular element, okay, in an array. If the number of elements in an array is very less, I can take very less time to search for that particular element. Again, if the number of elements in an array is very large, say lakh, say million, got it? So number of elements in an array is very large, say lakh, million. So in that case, the time we require to search for an element will also be large if I'm going to make use of my brute force method, the sequential search. Okay. So now the question now, I think you've got to know what I'm telling. Okay. So in this session, we are going to discuss, okay, how efficiently we can solve, what are the problem types, what are the problem we are given, okay, with a very larger instance. I mean, in this session, we are going to discuss how efficiently, how faster we can come up with a solution for the problem with very larger instance. I mean, very larger input, very larger size. Okay. So in that case, what I can do, I'm the problem. Okay, is very larger. Okay, let me tell you. mm, uh, the problem is to compute. Let me say I have some 100 elements. Okay, I have some 100 numbers. Okay, I want know the sum of all those 100 numbers. Got it? So if I manually, if I keep on adding first two numbers, next for the value result, the third number I'm going to add. Then I'm going to get some temporary result. For that fourth number, I'm going to add. Then I'm going to get some temporary result. I'm going to add fifth number. So and so, I will add 99 times. Clear? Got it? So I mean to say, as if for simple, okay, I will have some 100 numbers to be summed. So I need to perform in general. What you will do? First two numbers you will add. For temporary result, third number you will add. For again the next temporary result, fourth number you will add. Totally 99 additions will be there. Clear? So time is also larger. But what I will do? Got it? I will. This is sequential execution. Means I one after one addition it need to follow. The better approach what I can do. Let me divide this 100 numbers into 4 subsets. Okay, first 25 one subset, second 25 numbers, the second subset, third 25 numbers, the third subset, next last 25 numbers, the fourth subset. Now what I'll do, I will assign this subset of 25 numbers to 4 individuals, and I'll tell them to solve, okay, parallelly. Means this 100 numbers are partitioned into 25 number subset, and I have given this partition to 4 individuals. Now those 4 individuals will sum. The 4 individuals will sum the 25 numbers what have been given to them. Clear? Parallelly. Got it? So all 4 will compute the sum of 25 numbers at the same time. Okay, might be some time variation might be there, negligible. Got it? So next what I will give, they will give the result that is the sum of 25 numbers. Okay, each 4 will give the sum of 25 numbers assigned to them. Then what I can do, I can just sum the result of those 425 numbers. I got an answer. Clear, right? I think you got understood. So what I repeat, I have 100 numbers to sum. If I use brute force, okay, I mean to say usual, what I'll do, first 2 numbers I'll sum. For the temporary result, I will add third number. Again, temporary result, I will add fourth number. This I will repeat until the last number is added. I mean, I can find 99 additions. So very long time consuming, last time consumption. So what I'll do, this we call brute force. Okay. So now what I'll do, I will divide this 100 numbers into 4 subsets. In each subset, 25 numbers. And this subsets of 25 numbers, I'll assign to 4 individuals. Now, they will sum the subset of 25 numbers assigned to them parallelly. I mean, the time got reduced. Got it? Means that time very faster. I computed the sum of 25 number subsets. Now, this result given by those 4 individuals, if I sum, okay, with 3 additions, I'll get the final answer. Got it? Clear with this? Oh, so now let me tell you what actually divide and conquer means. I said this is one of the design strategy in algorithm. Okay, this is one of the design strategy in algorithm. Okay, means one, I have given a problem whose size is very large. Okay, so solving the problem may take longer time. So what we'll do, we will divide that problem into sub problems. Got it? We will divide the problem into sub problems. Got it? Suppose, assume that again the sub problem what I've got is again seems to be with larger input size. Okay, I may need to divide the sub problem into further sub problems. Got it? Clear with this? So divide the first phase. Okay, if we are given a problem with larger size, Okay, you need to divide the problem into sub-problem. Okay, with smaller size. Suppose the sub-problem what I got by dividing a given problem, okay, uh, is again with input size bit large. Okay, so I can divide that sub-problem into further sub-problem. Repeat this process, dividing a problem into sub-problems and further sub-problems. Okay, until you fill the sub-problems, until you fill the sub-problems. Okay, with input size small enough, with input size small enough that you can obtain solution immediately. Got it? I mean, repeat this process of dividing a problem into sub-problems, sub-problems into further sub-problems, until you feel sub-problem what I've got is with a smaller input size, smaller instance, so that you can solve that subproblem very quickly. You can have solution directly. I'll give you an example for this. Okay, one, I can decide my subproblem is with smaller input size. Now you got subproblems with smaller input size. You have the solution immediately, right? I mean, you got subproblems with smaller subsize, smaller size. You see now we have obtained subproblems with smaller size, smaller input, smaller instance. Yeah, solution immediately. Now, what we need to do, conquer stage. So conquer stage, what means combine, combining the solution of subproblems. Got it? So conquer phase may not be there for some problem types. We'll see that. For example, there is one search problem, searching problem. The solution is binary search. Their conquer phase is not there. Conquer means combining the solution of all these sub problems, combining the solutions. Okay, I mean answers of all the sub problems to get answer for main problem. Got it? Conquer phase means combining solutions, combining solutions, answers of all these sub problems. Okay, to get answer for the main problem. Okay, I'll tell you. At the start, I told I've taken an example of sum of 100 numbers, right? Sum of 100 numbers, right? So I said if I apply brute force method, I will perform 99 additions. So what I said, I will divide those 100 numbers into 4 subsets of 25 numbers. Clear? Then I will assign to 4 individuals. They will sum parallelly. They will give the sum of 25 numbers in their subset. Means they have given the solution for their subproblem. Clear? Now, these 4 answers of 4 individual subsets. Now I will combine. Combine means I will add these 4 answers to get answer for the main problem, that is sum of 100 numbers. Got it? So 4 sums, 4 answer given by 4 individuals. Okay, I will combine. I mean, I will add to get the final answer for the main problem. This is conquer phase. Conquer means combine. Clear? So now, hope you're clear with introduction to divide and conquer strategy. Clear? So now we'll have a look at agenda of this session. Agenda of this session is that first, it's an introduction to divide and conquer. Actually, I given, right? You have come to know what is divide and conquer strategy. And next, again, we'll see small and large instance. I mean to say, instance means don't get confused. Okay, instance means it's an input. Input. Okay, size of the input. In general, we call input. In general, okay, it's nothing but n. In case of array, one-dimensional array, n. In case of matrices, m and n. Instance depends on problem. Okay, so when I can call my problem is with larger instance. When I can call my problem is with smaller instance. We'll see that. So smaller instance means you will have answer immediately. Remember, smaller instance means you will have answer immediately. Next, how to solve a smaller instance? How to solve a larger instance? Clear? So then, we'll have a discussion about general method of divide and conquer. This general method I told you, right? But we'll see in the form of flow diagram. Got it? Next, we'll ask some examples. Okay, then general algorithm, generic algorithm. See, when you're going to solve any problem, okay, when you plan to come up with a solution using divide and conquer strategy, means you are given a problem, you may think that divide and conquer strategy will be best. Okay, so if you choose divide and conquer strategy, each divide and conquer strategy will have some generic algorithm, means same prototype, same flow. Okay, they will follow. The problem may be of any type. Okay, it may be sorting problem, it may be searching problem, anything. But all these problems, when I solve using divide and conquer strategy, it follows some generic flow that we call generic algorithm. We'll see the structure of the general algorithm. Okay. Next, you have come up with a solution. Okay, using divide and conquer strategy. Now I can't say whether everyone's solution is best. So to determine everyone's solution, I may to identify whose solution is best. Okay, I should compute time efficiency, right? I need to investigate how fast each algorithm will run. Okay, like what I said, we have discussed mathematical analysis of recursive, mathematical analysis of non-recursive algorithms. Clear? Similarly, here at the last, I'll tell you, when a problem is solved using divide and conquer strategy, okay, to analyze its efficiency, okay, what are the procedures, what are steps I need to follow, how we can solve, how we can analyze. We'll see at the end. So now, introduction given to you. So first thing is that I said larger problem will be divided into sub-problems. Sub-problems again, if find to be with larger instance, it will be keep divided into further sub-problems. So now when I can call my problem to be small, okay. For example, let me say, I will give you an easier example other than what you're seeing on the slide. See here, in array, there's only one element. In array, there is only one element. Now the problem is to search whether a particular key element is in array or not. Got it? So in array, there is only one element. Problem is you need to search. You need to search whether a particular key element, okay, exists in this array or not. Okay. So now what you will do? It's very simple. Immediately you can solve, right? You will just, because array has only one element, you will compare key with that one element. You will compare key element with that one element. If match occurs, you will say successful. If mismatch occurs, you will say unsuccessful. What I wanted to say is that in this case, since array is containing only one element, there is no question of dividing array into subarrays. Clear? There was no question of dividing array into subarrays because array was having only one element. Suppose array was having 1000 elements. Among these 1000 elements, I wanted to search a key element. Okay. Sequential search, if I apply, it takes maximum 999 comparisons. Sorry, 100,000 comparisons. In the worst case, if I apply sequential search, it takes 1000 comparisons. Got it? So what is better or best approach? 1000 comparison is a long time, right? So what I can do in that case, that 1000 element array, let me divide into 10 sub arrays of 100 each. Again, each sub arrays of 100, let me divide further into 10 arrays of size 10. Apply search parallelly. Got it? Apply search among all these sub problems parallelly, sub arrays parallelly. So you can you will come to the match or mismatch very immediately. I mean, faster you can solve the problem. Got it? So a smaller instance means the solution can be obtained immediately without dividing into further subproblems. Large instance means I may need to divide the problem into subproblems. Got it? Clear? In this small instance, okay, one more. The first is I said sort a list that has less than 10 elements or equal to 10 elements. Means when array is having one up to 10 elements, you can prefer bubble sort, selection sort. Find the minimum of some n elements, you will say. If there are only 2 elements, okay, with one comparison itself, we can come to know which one is less, which one is max. Got it? Suppose there are 100 elements. To find minimum, you need to perform 99 comparison. Okay, clear? To obtain minimum of 100, you need minimum of 100 elements. You need to perform 99 comparisons using brute force method. But if there are only 2 elements, one comparison is sufficient. So large instance means if an array, say for example, contains more than 10 elements, I won't prefer bubble sort. I won't prefer selection sort. Okay, to solve, I will use divide and conquer strategy. And there are very best algorithms we'll see in future sessions. Quick sort, merge sort, and sort. And suppose if I said large instance means I want to find the minimum of 100 elements, right? 99 comparison. Clear? So solving a small instance, just now I said, in case of sorting 10 elements, bubble sort, selection sort, insertion sort is best. Okay. So the problem is finding minimum of some n elements. Might be 100, might be 1000, whatever it be. Okay. Suppose if I want to say it's a smaller, okay, if there is no element in an array, no element in an array, and you are asked to determine minimum, there is no question of dividing into sub problems. You can say directly no minimum element. You mean you have answer. No minimum element exists. Well, only one element in array, and you are asked to determine minimum when only one element in an array. Okay, and you are asked to determine minimum. Answer is direct, right? That only one element. When there are two elements in an array, even it's a smaller instance, you perform one comparison to determine which is smaller. Got it? Clear with this? So this is about how to solve a smaller instance. Now, solving a larger instance. I said, right, when a problem we feel to be larger, a problem we feel is with larger instance, what I'll do, I will divide that problem into sub-problems. Again, if I feel sub-problem is with of a bit larger instance, okay, what I'll do, I will again divide the sub-problems into further sub-problems. So this process I'll repeat until I get sub-problems with a smaller instance, for which I can have solution immediately. Got it? So first step is that divide the larger instance into k smaller instances. Means I may need to divide the problem into two or more subproblems. Got it? When I come to a point, subproblem is with smaller instance. Okay, solve those smaller instances. Next, as now I have the second at the second stage I have solution for all smaller instances. Right? So what I said, now I should combine the result of these smaller instances. I should combine the result of the smaller instances to obtain result for the original large instance. Got it? Now I should combine the results of the smaller instances to obtain the result for the original large instance. I said, right, at the start example, summing 100 numbers. I divided those 100 numbers into 4 subsets of 25 numbers assigned to 4 individuals. They find the sum of those 25, they have returned to me. I will combine those 4 sums to get final sum. Got it? So general method, again and again, I need not have to repeat the same. Now clear, right? Divide and conquer strategy work according to following general. The same thing. In general, what happens, the first step, what I said, a problem's instance is divided into several smaller instances of the same problem, each of same size. Okay, one thing you need to analyze here. Okay, what I said, a problem's instance is divided into several smaller instances of the same problem. I mean, the example what I given, to find sum of 100 numbers. Sum of 100 numbers. Problem is sum of 100 numbers. Sum of numbers. Now I divided this 100 numbers into 4 subsets with 25 numbers. Now on this 25 numbers, what I've done, what problem I need to solve, I need to apply for those 25 numbers. Again the sum. Clear? I mean, the problem that will be divided into subproblems. Subproblems are nothing but similar to the same original problem. Subproblem is not should not be something different one. Subproblem should be of type similar to the given main problem. Got it? Smaller instances are solved. Third, we may need to combine. So yeah, the third, what I said, if necessary, solutions of smaller instances need to be combined. Because for all problem types, solutions of subproblems need not be combined. I mean to say, sorry, I repeat, there are some problems, okay, in which solutions of the subproblems need not be combined. There are some problems, okay, where solutions, there are some problems where solutions of subproblems need not be combined. Say binary search, we'll see later. Quick sort, got it? And those problems where we need to combine solutions of subproblems, we need to combine. Got it? Third step, I repeat once again. If necessary, solutions of smaller instances are combined to get a solution to the original instance. Why I said if necessary means there are some problems. Say, in case of searching, there is one solution, binary search. In case of sorting, there is one solution, quick sort. Here, we are not combining the solutions of subproblems. Whereas for other problems, for other solutions, I may need to combine solutions of subproblems. This is a pictorial representation, okay, like a flowchart representation, okay. It's very simple, right? What and all are given explanation. The same it's been resembled here in this diagram. First step will be given problem of size n. Next, what I'll do, I'll divide this into two subproblems of size n by 2, n by 2. Got it? So n by 2 might be now smaller. Let me assume in this case, in this pic, I'll assume n by 2 is small. If I assume n by 2 is small, I have solution to those subproblems 1 and 2. Now, the solutions of subproblems 1 and 2, I will combine to get solution to the original problem. Clear? So example here, to compute sum of, some n numbers, okay, starting from n numbers designated A0, A1, An minus. What it says, the same. You will divide, you actually need to compute sum of A0, A1 up to An minus 1. But we'll divide into two. A0 to An by 2, one group. An by 2 plus 1 to An minus 1, the other group. Got it? I mean, first of and the second of two subgroups. Sum those two subgroups parallelly, combine the result of those two subgroups. I mean, sum the result of those two subgroups. We'll have answer for final. Suppose there's only one element, means that one element itself is the sum. Got it? So now it's very important. Analysis. This is okay. I said general algorithm, right? So the same thing. Just have a look. It's very important. Comments, you leave it. So first, divide and conquer is the name of an algorithm. in general. In case of binary search, I'll write there as binary search. In case of quick sort, I'll write it as quick sort. In case of merge sort, I'll write it as merge sort. P is a problem in AND. Okay, is a size. Let me say P is a problem. Now, first thing what I need to do, I need to check problem is small enough so I can have a solution. I means got the first things here. If small of P means small is a function that checks whether P is with a smaller instance or not. If P is with a smaller instance, means I have solution of P. So return that solution. Got it? Now, if P is with a larger instance, then control will come to else part. In else part, what I'll do? I'll divide this P into smaller instances, P1, P2, Pk. Got it? After dividing, what I should do? For each problem, subproblems, okay, for each subproblems is of type of the main problem, I said, right? Subproblem should be of the type of main problem. So for now here, the solution is D and C, divide and conquer. Got it? So for the subproblems P1, P2, Pk, I need to apply same divide and conquer solution. Got it? Clear? Got it? I need to apply same divide and conquer to each of the subproblems. Then I'll have a solution. Okay? So I should combine solutions of all those and return that solution as return that answer, okay, as result for the main problem. Clear? So just have a careful look at this algorithm. First, I'll check problem instance is small. If small, solution is written direct. If not, divide and conquer this. Now, computing time. Okay. So here, the computing time of divide and conquer, okay, it's like, see, in this, what I said, in this algorithm, just apply. Just see, in this algorithm, just have a cautious, clear look. In else part return, okay, I'm invoking divide and conquer with P1, divide and conquer with P2. The main algorithm also divide and conquer. This divide and conquer invokes itself, right? Algorithm invoking itself is known as what? Recursive algorithm. Algorithm invoking itself is known as recursive algorithm. So to analyze recursive algorithm, what I said, recurrence relation. Okay. So now, let me say, initial condition T of n equal to G of n means T of n gives the time. Okay, when n is small, G of n is time, minimum time required. If n is large, I have divided into some case of problems. So T of n1, time for each subproblems need to be considered. And what is that f of n means? F of n is time for combining the solutions. Means time for main problem is time for all subproblems plus time for combining answer. Clear? Thank you for listening.